Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Dr. Jiwon Kim, Associate Professor in School of Education here at Monmouth University. On behalf of the symposium viewers, I welcome you and sincerely thank you for joining us for the Sustainability in Teaching and Research STAR Symposium. This morning, we're delighted to share that the University President, Patrick Leahy, will be welcoming the First Lady of New Jersey, Tammy Snyder, who will deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Kim, and for introducing me, but also thank you for inviting me to be part of this special occasion. Thank you so much, and I want to welcome all of you here to Monmouth University, whether you join us here in Pizicki Hall on our beautiful campus or join via our live stream. We'll have individuals join in from note to self, get a little faster. We have individuals obviously here on campus, but also joining via our live stream. So hopefully we can introduce this symposium to individuals from around the state, around the country, and who knows, maybe around the world. So I thank you all for being a part of this. As you know, this seminar is all about teaching and research as it relates to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And you all know better than I that there are 17 goals that were articulated by the UN back in 2015. They were given 15-year timelines to make our global community more inclusive, more fair, more just, and of course, more sustainable. The goal of which, as I understand it, was to leave no one behind in our global community. And I, if I may, was introduced to these Sustainable Development Goals way back in 2015 at a previous institution, which shall remain nameless. I was involved in the International Council for Small Business. And when we saw the development goals announced, and the #1 sustainable development goal was to end poverty as we know it, we felt that one way to do that, maybe the best way to do that, was to promote small business worldwide. So we mounted this effort to create a UN day. You know how there's 129 international days. In fact, I looked it up. Unfortunately, there's no international day on June 2nd. But yesterday I mentioned to our staff that June 1st was the Global Day for Parents. So I commend all of you parents out there. Our goal was to create an international day that would support the Sustainable Development Goals in support of small business. And it afforded me the unbelievable privilege of 2 times being able to speak at the UN in support of this. And it passed, I think unanimously, that every year on June 27th, we would celebrate International MSME Day, Micro, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day. One important way to try to celebrate small business in pursuit of these Sustainable Development Goals. As I mentioned, they were announced in 2015 with the goal to have them complete in 2030. Guess what? That makes us about the halfway point right now toward those goals. But if you ask the Secretary General, he would say the promise is in peril right now. He goes on, though, to say that every time humanity has faced a severe challenge, we have risen to that challenge the time is now, which is one reason why I'm particularly pleased that we could host this STAR Symposium right now here at Monmouth University. So there's so many people that I would like to thank for putting this together. First, my distinguished colleagues here at Monmouth who are so involved, Dr. Kim and Dr. Dada, Dr. Veit, Tony McDonald, so many others, forgive me if I've missed anyone, who convened from across the disciplines to put this symposium together. I want to thank in advance the moderators and the panelists. If you have seen the list of moderators and panelists, you'll see how distinguished a group it is. And if I may, I want to thank in advance our students, some of whom are going to be able to demonstrate the research that they're doing at the poster session later today in pursuit of these sustainable development goals. So I thank all of them, but there's one person in particular I want to thank in a special way this morning, and that is our special guest, the First Lady of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy. She is, I hope I can say, a friend of Monmouth University. She has visited our campus many times, most recently in April at our American Music Honors event that was sponsored by the Springsteen Archives and Center for American Music. She is a tireless advocate of causes that resonate with the very 17 sustainable goals that we will discuss today. Let me just give you a couple quick examples. Improving maternal and infant health. Goal number 3. Advancing women and minority-owned businesses. Goals 1 and 5 at least. And leading the effort to make sure that climate change is embedded into the very learning standards across public education here in the state of New Jersey. In fact, New Jersey was the first state, and I believe still the only state among our 50 great states that has embedded climate change and climate science into the learning standards of our students in the K-12 system. Goal 13 of our SDGs. So for all of those reasons, I am particularly proud to call Tammy Murphy a friend of Monmouth University. So I'd like to ask all of you to please join me in welcoming to this STAR Symposium the First Lady of New Jersey, Mrs. Tammy Murphy.
Thank you to President Leahy. What an incredible speaker. Wish I could speak off the cuff like that and have the deep institutional knowledge that you've had over the last, halfway mark now, I guess 8 years. So I want to thank you for not only introducing me, but also for hosting everyone here today at Monmouth University. I also want to thank Dr. Kim, not only for the invitation to be here, but as President Leahy just shared, and you've all seen, this is an incredible program that you are going to embark upon over the next 2 days. And hats off to you and to your colleagues for pulling this together, and thank you for including me. So to that end, I am honored to be a part of this year's Sustainability and Teaching and Research Symposium, and to have the opportunity to share with all of you just how vital climate education is to our overall effort in fighting the climate crisis. First, let us be frank. The warming of our planet is an observable fact, and its effects are already being felt. This crisis will not only affect our generation, but also the future of our entire planet. Climate change will affect every aspect of our lives and our children's lives. The way we travel, the way we eat, the way we dress, work, play, and more. It poses significant threats to ecosystems, economy, and social well-being. It is not an abstract concept, but a reality that demands our immediate attention and action. Here in New Jersey and around the world, we are experiencing more frequent and more intense storms that disrupt our lives, damage property, and at their worst, cause death. And while this threat is nothing less than existential, it is also a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come together to preserve our planet while creating equity and opportunity for every community. And it may come as no surprise to this room that our best avenue to harness this opportunity is through education. It has long been our strongly held belief that education holds the power to change the trajectory of a child's life, to eliminate inequality and poverty, and to help each individual person reach their full potential. We also now believe that education holds the power to ensure our students are the leaders of the future green economy and are prepared to meaningfully fight the climate crisis. To this end, as President Leahy was just explaining, New Jersey made history in 2020 when we incorporated climate change education across 7 of our 9 content areas in our K-12 grade education. And I would like to note that our remaining standards, English language arts and mathematics, are up for review right now. The Department of Education is currently gathering written testimony on the standards until next Wednesday, June 7th. While we know the majority of New Jerseyans support climate change education, I genuinely urge you and your fellow educators to please make your voices heard by submitting testimony in the next 5 days to the NJ standards comments at doe.nj.gov to ensure that New Jersey continues to be at the forefront of climate change education. These standards set New Jersey's public education system apart from the rest of the nation in preparing our students to protect our planet, as well as in preparing them to compete and succeed in the jobs of the future green economy. We know that to fully succeed in this goal, we must support our educators in adopting these new standards. To that end, my husband, Governor Murphy, included $5 million in each of the fiscal year 2023 and fiscal year 2024 budgets in grants available for New Jersey schools to provide climate change related professional development opportunities for our educators, technical assistance, instructional materials, and more. And I'd like to note that as of a couple weeks ago, we have 237 school districts, that's nearly half of all districts in New Jersey, that have already received grants. We are looking forward to seeing the other half hopefully apply as the process opens up again in the next couple of weeks. By providing comprehensive climate change education from the very beginning of our students' educational careers through high school graduation, we equip them with the tools to mitigate and adapt to the effects of climate change, inspire innovative thinking and creative problem solving, and cultivate a sense of environmental stewardship, which ultimately will foster sustainable practices and responsible decision-making in everyday life. Our students stand to graduate high school as the first generation ever prepared to face the consequences of the climate crisis, no matter what field they pursue. Further, through our Council on the Green Economy, which I have had the honor of chairing, we are simultaneously working to ensure that the economic benefits of our new green economy reach all communities, especially our urban centers. Historically, these communities have shouldered a disproportionate burden of environmental pollution and degradation. It is literally our moral obligation to rectify these injustices and create an equitable and sustainable future for everyone. And that makes the green economy and its inclusivity even more important. Some of the paths the Council has identified that will help us reach this goal include providing training programs, job opportunities, and entrepreneurial support to communities that have historically been marginalized. It's truly our hope that through this effort, economic growth and environmental sustainability can go hand in hand. Further, investing in green technologies, renewable energy, and sustainable infrastructure can revitalize urban centers and create well-paying jobs. By intentionally involving minority communities in these sectors, we not only empower individuals with new skills, but also foster economic development and address social inequities. To achieve these goals, we need collective action. Government, educational institutions, and businesses must work together with community members to prioritize climate change, education, and an equitable transition to the green economy. We need policies that support environmental justice, equitable access to education, and workforce development programs, alongside a public that is invested in the success of that effort. This last piece, above all, has given me the most hope. There can be no question that this generation of young people has been the most passionate, the most committed, and the most aware of the climate crisis. That energy and the determination to overcome the challenges we face leads me to believe that together we will create a sustainable future that leaves no one behind. Together, we are leading the way toward a more resilient, prosperous, and environmentally conscious world. And I thank you all for joining us in this mission. Have a great conference.
Thank you, First Lady. Before we close, on behalf of all the Monmouth University students and the youth around the world, our student ambassador and volunteer, Taïphane Orange, our political science and international relations major, we present the First Lady with flowers as a symbol of sustaining the beautiful earth, which is the goal of this symposium. And this bouquet was specially arranged by a local farm who sustainably grows the flowers. And thank you very much, everyone. Please stay on for the rest of the day's events, including the paper sessions and executive plenary address and keynote address, student poster sessions, lunch and reception and dinner. There will be also the virtual sessions tomorrow here, but also I'd like to highlight our keynote address by Mr. Omar Hernandez from the UN Academic Impact. His keynote address will be here in this room after lunchtime, so please join us especially. Thank you.